Hey guys, Michael here from Fat to Fit, and today is the day I am going to get my final DEXA scan to see how I've gone with the muscle and body fat loss kind of thing. I'm here sitting outside the place. I am about to run a bit late, so I have to get in there quickly, but I just wanted to say I don't base all my results on this DEXA scan. Like, there is some inaccuracy with it. I think it's only there's about a 3 to 5% accuracy rate with a DEXA scan. So I use this in conjunction with other things like my weight and how I'm looking in the mirror and stuff like that. So you don't have to take these things like full on. They're just a little bit of an indicator, but I'm gonna go see how I've done so far, so wish me luck. So I was lucky enough to be able to record myself getting the scan this time so I could show you guys what it is really like getting it on myself. So just here at the beginning, you just have to be positioned correctly just so the machine passes over you evenly, and then all it does is pretty much take an x-ray of your body, a very weak x-ray of your body, just enough to get your bones, your body fat and your lean muscle mass, and the machine passes over your body, I think it is twice. It passes over one side and then it passes over the other, and it feeds all the information into the computer to basically get the results that I'll be talking about later in the video. And as you can see, you have to lie still for about 3 minutes, and it's a relatively quick and painless thing, and it's just a good way of keeping track of body fat levels and muscle mass and stuff like that. And it's not too expensive as well. If you guys are ever down in the Melbourne area, go see Tony at Body DEXA Fit, because he does great work there, and I always get my scans done there. And yeah, and so that's a bit about the process. If you want to really know a lot more about the DEXA scan process, I explained it quite a bit in the first video of this series, so go and check that out, and I will see you guys in the next clip. Okay guys, I am back from my DEXA scan, and I don't really know how I feel about it, to be honest. I'll go through the results properly later with you guys and a bit of comparison. But it says, so I've been dieting for 15 to 16 weeks, and I've lost, according to his scales, I've lost 10 kilos, which is about right. I have about 11 kilos, but it said I've lost about 5 to 6 kilos of fat, and the rest is lean mass. Now, what you have to understand with DEXA scans, lean mass isn't just muscle. Lean mass includes muscle, glycogen, and your organs. So glycogen is what fills up glycogen's hard to explain, but it fills up your muscles, get it from carbs, that kind of thing. So filling up, so I'm quite depleted. So that can indicate a lot of that as well. But 5 to 6 kilos of fat loss only, I don't know about that. I don't think I've lost too much muscle at all, just from looking, and my strength has barely dropped in the gym. So I know I haven't lost that much muscle. So that means when I got my DEXA scan at the start, I must have been quite overloaded with glycogen and water and that kind of thing for such a drastic drop in that number. But 6 kilos of fat, I'm pretty happy with that, and I'm looking lean, I'm looking all right, and I don't think I'm going to cut anymore. I don't want to, but I'm going to go through all of this properly with you guys later when I print out the results. For now, I'm going right here to show you guys. Right here. Well, let's see if I can. Right here. If you can't tell, it's McDonald's. I'm going to have some McDonald's. See you later, guys. Okay, guys, now it's time to go through the results of my DEXA scan. I am recording my screen this time to make it a bit easier than just printing it out. So forgive any watermarks or anything that pop up, because I am using a trial program. But anyway, here are my 2 DEXA scan results. So you have here on the left, my DEXA scan at the start of my cut on the 21st of July. I was weighing 85.3 kilos, and then on the right here you have my recent DEXA scan on the 5th of November, where I was apparently weighing 74.9 kilos, but I'll talk a bit about that later. So as you can see here, it says at the beginning of my cut I had a fat mass of about 20 kilos, and recently, by the end of the cut, my fat mass was 14.7 kilos. So only really about a 5.4 kilo loss in terms of fat, which is about 10 to 11 pounds, which isn't too bad. But then here you've got my fat-free mass. Now, what fat-free mass is, it isn't just muscle, it's your muscle, your organs, so like your heart, your lungs, etc. And also other things like water weight, glycogen, etc. So keeping that in mind, at the beginning it says my fat-free mass was 66.1 kilos, and then at the end it was 61 kilos. So a loss of 5 kilos in fat-free mass. Now at first that might be a bit worrying because you're like, oh crap, I've lost 5 kilos of muscle. But what most of that most likely is that before I started my cut, I wasn't dieting, I hadn't cut anything out yet, and so my muscles were still quite full of glycogen. Now glycogen is a storage molecule that helps store energy pretty much in your muscles, and so as you lose weight, you lose fat, in those first few weeks your glycogen stores really deplete. That's what it means when people say they get depleted, and so that's why I think there's been such a large drop in combination with water weight and stuff like that, because personally I don't think I lost that much muscle, considering my strength barely dropped in the gym. I was lifting pretty close to what I was lifting before my cut, and I just think overall I didn't lose that much muscle, especially looking at myself through observation and stuff like that. So when you see something like that, oh, fat-free mass has dropped so much, that's actually not too bad. I expected to lose a bit more fat than that, and I do think maybe the machine is a bit off. I'll show you what it said my body fat is, and that's probably why I think it is slightly off. But what can you do? You have to take these things with a grain of salt. So if I scroll down a bit here, you'll see at the bottom it has my body fat percentage in something called nanes, and then you've got something called pre-nanes right here. So nanes, after I think it was 2009 or something like that, they developed a new method for measuring body fat, and that's called the nanes method. And so the nanes method is normally a bit higher than what you traditionally think body fat is, where the pre-nanes method is the one you're probably used to and have probably seen a lot online and in other YouTube videos, etc. like that. So I can tend to stick to the pre-nanes just for simplicity. So for the pre-nanes, at the beginning it said I was 19.2% body fat, which I can believe because I looked quite big. But then pre-nanes at the end of my cut, so just recently, it says my body fat percentage is 15%. Now, DEXA scans are the gold standard for measuring your body fat. They normally are quite accurate, but even there, they can have their error depending on the day, depending on the machine, depending on the person using the machine. Nothing against Tony, who used the machine, but I do think this, used the machine who normally measures me, but I do think this was a bit off today. I don't think I was anywhere near 15% body fat, and there's a few reasons for that. Just by looking at myself, I could see my top 2 abs, especially when I pulled my loose skin down, and I don't think you can see abs anywhere near 15%, especially with me with a lot of my loose skin. So I would say I was closer to maybe 12%, 11%, definitely a bit lower than that, and that's okay because DEXA scans can have an error of around 3 to 6%, I think it is. Just like any machine out there, even though it is considered the gold standard, it can have its errors like any other measurement tool. So I do this just as a way for getting a bit of scientific information from it, but you shouldn't just be relying on this solely to measure your body fat levels. You should be doing things like taking into account your weight, how you're looking, various measurements. I was taking my waist circumference, circumferences of all my muscle groups, etc. and all that, and I'm using all this information to get an overall picture. And that's another thing. It said I was 74.9 kilos when my scales say closer to 74 kilos, so that's a bit of a difference there as well. So it's just little things that can throw the numbers off slightly, but I do think that is a bit high. Who knows, maybe I'm completely wrong and it might be 15%, but I personally feel that I'm lower, and judging from my experience and what I've seen over the past few years, I believe I am a lower body fat than that. but you just never know completely. So what else do you get from a DEXA scan? There's a few things down here as well. You can see it compares, I'll use this one because it's my most recent one, but it compares all your scans to date. So it's got here my changes in fat mass, so fat mass, total fat mass up here, it's got total lean mass down here, and it's just got the numbers. What I find really helpful is this right here, this picture. This picture lets you visually see the changes in fat mass, and so this was at the end of my last cut. You can see I had got down quite low. I think I was close to 10% there, and then this was the start of the cut. You can see I put on quite a bit of fat during my bulk last year, and that was because I was a bit out of control. But then you can see here most recently I did cut down a decent amount of the fat, especially from my love handles and hips, but I've still got some there. But I think this popping up here, a lot of that is the loose fat in my loose skin as well, so I have to take that into account, and I could probably remove this if I had loose skin surgery or something like that, but for now that's alright. And what else do you get? You get some analysis of your bones here as well, which I don't really pay much attention to. And then here is what I really like to look at as well. You've got this table here. It tells you your how much muscle you have in each region of your body. So you've got your left arm, your right arm, trunk, left leg, right leg, subtotal, etc. And you've got your fat mass and your lean mass plus your bone mass, which is BMC, and then you have your total mass and percent fat of each region of the body, which I can find useful to see where I've lost fat in particular areas of the body. For example, my left arm, at the beginning of my cut, I had 1.2 kilos of fat, or 1200 grams, and then by the end I had 900 grams, so I lost a good 300 grams off my left arm, and you can do that with every single body region. And so that's pretty much all a DEXA scan is, just a good way to keep track of your fat mass and your muscle mass. Now I'm going to swap to the camera just to have a bit of a chat to you guys, so see you in a second. Okay guys, so hopefully you guys did gain something out of me explaining all that, and if you did have any questions, please feel free to ask me either in the comment section or in an email, and I'm happy to answer for you. Like I said earlier in the video, I am slightly disappointed with what my DEXA scan results say, but I am happy with how I was looking and the amount of weight I was able to lose in that period of time, and how I was feeling and how I'm feeling now, which is a lot better compared to how I was during my cut, because it's now a few days after that. But just like I was saying, you have to take these things all into consideration. Don't just focus on one thing like a DEXA scan, where it is useful. Sorry about the rain, I know it's annoying in the background. But like I was saying, with the DEXA scan, it is a useful tool, but that's all it is. And you need to take everything into account, not just the scans. You take in your weight changes from week to week, any measurements you take, photos is a big one, any videos and stuff like that. Take it all into account, and you decide for yourself whether you're happy with what you've achieved and what you want to go to next. So that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys did enjoy it. Look out for my next video, because my next video is going to be a really good one. I've been working hard on it, and I hope you guys do enjoy it when it comes out. But anyway, please give the video a thumbs up, comment down below, and I will catch you guys in my next video, which should be out quite soon. So see you later guys.